Okay, so for this one, I have increased my weight, so I should be able to get like a 9-inch dinner plate with this. I have to remember to account for the shrinkage of the clay. So this is about 4 pounds. So I'm using those same centering techniques that I used for my smaller one, which is coning up. So I'm using my hands on the bottom and squeezing with like my pinky side of my hands. So I'm squeezing like with this part, and I'm working my way up to cone up. And then I'm going to have one hand that's supported, keeping it centered, and the other hand is going to push out and down at the same time. And if I want to, I can lock my thumbs. And then I just push it back down into that dome. So I can, if you want to, you can cone up and down about 3 times. Or until you think it feels centered, and my hand keeps catching right there. So when I'm centering, my wheel can be going pretty fast. And I'm gonna do the push down. And hand on the side, anchored somewhere. Okay. So a couple things can happen when you're centering. You can get that mushroom shape. So I'll show you that. So you can get, let's see, so you can get like this mushroom shape. See how right here, I'm starting to really get an undercut, and that's really common. And how you fix that is by just making sure that this hand is all the way flat against your wheel head, and you're pressing with more of the heel of your hand when you're trying to center. Another thing that can happen is when I'm coning up, I can get like this like volcano dip in my clay, and I don't really want that either. So how to get rid of that is you can try to like use your thumbs to like flatten that all out, and some of this clay might peel up. Or you can just kind of take the top and just pinch off wherever you see like that volcano going down to. So I'm just gonna cone up one more time, keeping my thumbs really flat on top. And then I'm gonna cone down and get it back where I need it to be on center. So I'm nice and centered. And now I want to do the same thing that I did with the smaller amount of clay, which is make that pancake. So when you have a little bit more clay, it's a little bit harder to keep this top part moist. So sometimes I just hold my sponge in this hand if I feel like it's getting dry. I release a little bit of water. Keep pressing down. I'm keeping my left hand holding there so it's centered. I'm actually going to use both hands because I need some more power to press down. So I'm pressing down with my fist, and I'm pulling out that pancake. And if it gets sticky, don't be afraid to go ahead and squeeze some more water on top. So I'm pushing down with my fist, and I'm pulling that pancake out. Pushing down. pulling that pancake out. So if you want a 9-inch plate, you're gonna have to make it about 10 inches or 10.5 inches because of the shrinkage. So I'm just flattening out my pancake, compressing, pulling back, making sure there's enough water, getting it all nice and flat, and going out probably almost to the edge of this bat that I have. And if you want to, you can test your thickness with your needle tool, just like you do in regular pots. So if you want to trim a foot on the bottom, you can leave it a little bit more than 1/4 inch. If you want to just have a flat plate, you can go a little bit, 1/4 inch or a little bit thinner. So I'm just using my spoon to compress it, or my sponge to compress it. I'm going to use my rib. Do a lot of smoothing, compressing, making sure it's nice and flat. Then just like with the smaller one, now we're gonna take our finger on the edge of the plate and we're gonna pop up that edge. So I'm gonna do it up here so you can see, but you would do yours on the side. So I'm just taking my finger right on the edge and I'm just pushing in and making sure that I have enough water on my hand. So I have a little pop-up rim now if I want that. If I wanted to do more, I would just keep pushing my fingers in. You can see my rim is popping up more and more as I push in. Okay. So then if you wanted to, you need to decide again, do I just want a ledge or do I want, you know, the traditional plate with like that, I don't know what it's called, that rim that's around there. So I just want this one just to be one that's popped up on the edge. I don't want any kind of lip or anything on it. So I'm just gonna go back and clean it up with my rib. I can take my knife tool if I want to clean up this base a little bit, make it a little bit easier to trim later. Get some of that extra clay off. And that's it. So some people like to do like these little swirls. So I start in the middle and then just slowly make my way out, and I can have a little swirl on my plate. And before you're all the way done, just make sure that you run your wire tool underneath. So just be really careful to just hold it down, flush against your bat, and then pull all the way straight back to release it from your bat. And then you're just going to let it dry a little bit on the bat. So you're not going to move it off the bat until you can pick it up and it's not going to distort.